Everywhere we go, there is noise. The sound of traffic on the streets, people talking, music playing, notifications from our phones. It never stops. Even when we are alone, our minds are filled with thoughts, worries, and plans for the future. This constant noise, both external and internal, shapes our daily lives more than we realize. In today's world, silence has become rare. The moment we wake up, we check our phones. News, messages, social media. It all floods our minds before we even take a deep breath. Throughout the day, we continue this pattern. We listen to music while commuting, watch videos during lunch, and scroll through endless updates before going to bed. There is always something demanding our attention. But what does this noise do to us? It distracts us, making it harder to focus. It fills our minds with unnecessary thoughts, making us anxious or restless. It keeps us from truly listening to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. When we are always surrounded by noise, we forget how to be present. Some might say, "I enjoy the noise, it keeps me entertained." That may be true, but ask yourself this: when was the last time you sat in silence, doing nothing, without feeling uncomfortable? Many of us find silence unsettling. We avoid it because it forces us to face ourselves. Without distractions, we become aware of our thoughts, feelings, and even the emptiness inside us. But this fear of silence is a sign of how deeply we depend on noise. We use it to escape, to avoid looking inward. Yet true clarity comes not from more information, but from less. We do not always need to add more to our lives. Sometimes we need to take something away. In a world that never stops talking, silence is a forgotten power. But what happens when we choose to embrace it? Silence is more than the absence of sound. It is a space, a state of being. Many people think silence means simply turning off the noise around them, muting the TV, putting their phone on silent, or finding a quiet place. But true silence is much deeper than that. It is not just about what we hear, but about how we experience the world. Think of a calm lake. When the water is still, it reflects everything clearly: the trees, the sky, even the smallest details. But when the water is disturbed, the reflection becomes unclear, broken. Our minds are the same. When they are filled with noise, thoughts, and distractions, we cannot see things as they truly are. But in silence, our minds become still, and suddenly, everything becomes clearer. Many people fear silence because they associate it with loneliness or emptiness. But silence is not empty. It is full of possibilities. It is in silence that great ideas are born, deep understanding is found, and real peace begins. Some of the most profound moments in life happen not when we are speaking, but when we are listening, to nature, to others, and to ourselves. How can we begin to discover silence in our noisy world? It does not require escaping to the mountains or living in a temple. Silence can be found anywhere. It can be found in the quiet moments of the morning before the world wakes up. It can be found in a short pause between conversations. It can even be found in the simple act of breathing, if we pay attention. We often search for answers outside ourselves, but many answers can only be heard in silence. When we stop adding noise to our lives, we begin to hear what has always been there, the wisdom that comes from within. Many people think of silence as weakness. In a world where speaking louder often means having more power, silence is sometimes seen as a lack of confidence, or even as avoidance. But true silence is not about weakness or hiding. It is about strength. The strength to be present, to listen deeply, and to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Consider a conversation. When two people talk, most of the time, they are not really listening. They are waiting for their turn to speak, already forming their next words in their minds. But when we practice silence, we listen, not just to words, but to emotions, to meaning, to what is left unsaid. Silence gives us the ability to truly connect with others, beyond surface-level interactions. Silence also gives us control over ourselves. When we are angry, frustrated, or overwhelmed, our first instinct is often to react. We say things we later regret. But when we allow silence to enter, even for just a moment, we create space between the emotion and the reaction. In that space, we find clarity. We can choose our words and actions with care, rather than letting emotions control us. Great leaders, wise teachers, and even those who have mastered their own minds understand the power of silence. A well-timed pause can be more impactful than 1,000 words. A moment of stillness can change the direction of a conversation, a relationship, or even a life. But the greatest strength of silence is that it allows us to hear ourselves. In the quiet, we see our thoughts for what they are, some useful, some unnecessary, some simply noise. We begin to recognize which thoughts serve us and which do not. We learn to let go of the noise and hold on to what truly matters. Silence is not an escape from life. It is a way to engage with it more deeply. When we embrace silence, we find strength, clarity, and a sense of peace that noise can never provide. And in the end, we realize that silence was never empty. It was always full of truth, full of understanding, full of life. In a world that never stops moving, silence can feel unfamiliar. It may seem unnecessary, even uncomfortable at times. But if we allow it into our lives, we begin to see its true value. Silence is not something to fear, it is something to welcome. It gives us clarity when life feels chaotic, peace when the mind is restless, and strength when words are not enough. Finding silence does not mean removing all sound from life. It simply means making space. A quiet moment in the morning, a pause before responding, a breath taken with full awareness. These small moments of silence have the power to change the way we experience the world. When we stop trying to fill every empty space with noise, we begin to hear what truly matters. Through silence, we learn to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. We become more present, more aware, and more connected to life as it unfolds. And as we continue on this path, we may realize that the peace we have been searching for was always within us, waiting to be heard. If this message resonates with you, I am grateful. Many of you have shared your thoughts, supported this channel, and helped create a space where these ideas can be explored together. Your kindness, your comments, your presence here, they all mean a great deal. For those who have taken the time to like this video, subscribe, or even support through super thanks, please know that your generosity is deeply appreciated. It allows these teachings to reach more people, and for that, I am truly thankful. May silence bring you peace. May you find strength in stillness. And may your journey, wherever it takes you, be filled with clarity and wisdom.